Avengers! Assemble.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books, I love talking about them, I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bio. So we're continuing our run of Avengers. I do have a playlist. I started with the oh my goodness, Under Siege storyline, and now we're heading into, or now we're in Assault on Olympus. So, Avengers 283 from 1987. Roger Stern, John Buscema, and Tom Palmer Jr. on the inks. Tom Palmer is one of the most unique, and I'm sorry, not Tom Palmer Jr., just regular Tom Palmer. Is one of the most unique inkers out there. And look at all this screen tone that he uses. He's got screen tones here in the background, and these straight lines are all screen tones, and then this is a screen tone. So this dude does a lot of screen tones, trying to here. He's got screen tones here, and then over here uses a whole different one. So, and so whom the gods would destroy is the name of our story here. And the Avengers are in hell. So, the Greek hell, of course, Hades. John Buscema here. Love this here. If you can, I don't know if you can notice on Namor's here, but the line never even went through. Look at this. It just right here. It still got colored correctly, but the line didn't even go through. So, all right. Here's our credits: Roger Stern, John Buscema, and Tom Palmer. So Thor here, who's, I wish to God they would release an action figure with this armor. It has yet to be released. They have released every version of Thor, just about it, except this one. I'm so sad about it. I can't wait till it comes out. So Thor here says, "So be it. Though every demon in Hades rises against us, let the netherworld rock with the power of the Avengers." So you can see here that the Avengers are ready to face off against so it's Hades is you'll have to excuse me, between Greek and the Romans. I think Hades is Greek. And Hades would be the god who in the Roman would be Pluto, but they're essentially the same dude here. So I don't know. They kind of keep going back and forth. I think Pluto is I thought Pluto was the Roman. Regardless, doesn't matter here. So he says here, "There is no escape, Avengers. My hordes will slay you where you stand, and I shall drag your souls back into my domain. For all eternity, you will be mine." And Captain Marvel says, "In a pig's eye." During this time, Monica Rambeau was the Captain Marvel. And so you can see her hitting his little tank here, and then it explodes. The power source in these super tanks, or whatever they are, is pretty heavy duty stuff. But now that I figured out how to overload it, as she flies out, and look at all this screen tone here. Back then, they didn't have a computer to do it. This all had to be done manually. So, I can discourage Pluto's army from lending support to the front lines. Then maybe the Submariner will have a chance to fly the other Avengers across the broken span to safety. Safety, that's a laugh, she says. The only thing waiting for us at the upper end of this impossible bridge is a city full of superpowered immortals, and they're the ones who sent us to Hades in the first place. But we have to go there. We have to make it to Olympus. Staying down here is certain death, maybe even for Thor, she continues here. And Pluto's not happy. On your feet, accursed ones. I'll grant a year's peace in blessed Elysium for each one who slays an Avenger. And so, death to the Avengers. Look at the screen tone again. He's using the straight lines, which is pretty cool. The other guy says death, and Submariner's like, never, no matter what your numbers or how great your power, the Submariner shall never yield. And Captain America using his shield to smash his face here. That's the spirit, Namor. Don't hold back, any of you. It sounds crazy, but these spirit troops aren't really alive. They can't be killed, but they can be stopped. And the Black Knight says, Cap, you mean we're fighting ghosts? That's weird. And he says, what? You're the Black Knight. You use a magic sword, and you have the nerve to call this weird? Yes, She-Hulk, I do. And she continues here. Okay, it is kind of unreal. Maybe I should give Baldy here a taste of reality by, say, kicking his tail till his nose bleeds. And Pluto says, you think to make sport of me, woman? Ha! None may touch the person of Pluto, so long as the Hadean fires are mine to command. And so he's throws this fire at her, and she's like, whoa. Really cool. This art team is absolutely fantastic. So, and here's Dr. Druid, who I don't know why he's in the Avengers, but he is. Maybe Roger Stern can use anybody else. So Thor here. My mortal friends fight valiantly. Even Dr. Druid, our newest Avenger, shows a physical prowess as adept as his powers of the mind. Only Thor is found lacking. My might checked by the pain visited me by the curse of Hela. That is in the Thor series by Walter Simonson, which I have a playlist of that because I love Walter Simonson as well. If only my hammer were firm in my grasp and not lost in Olympus, I would clear this bridge of our tormentors. Curse or no. So, and then here comes Pluto here. It is beyond belief these Avengers evade the blows of my finest warriors. No matter, they cannot escape me. And so he throws energy out of this axe thing. They are cut off from the upper pathway, cornered before an infinite abyss, and here, by my power, shall they fall. And so Thor says, Heimdall's eyes, he seeks to crush us all. One side, Avengers. Though Hela has left my bones brittle and broken, 'tis good as guardian steel that she's my body. Yeah, that is a part of me. I shall not falter, he says as he struggles. When you guys look at this, I just want you to just look at all the screen tones that Tom Palmer adds. It is the inker who would add those screen tones. And like I said, this had to be done manually. And look, I mean, this dude just, more than anyone else, a lot of people use screen tones. He's not the only one. But Tom Palmer really used them. I mean, everywhere. So, and in the beginning, Scott Williams, Jim Lee's inker, used it as well. Even Jim Lee used them when he inks himself. So, you hardly see anybody do this anymore. Even in computer, some people still use them, but a lot of people don't use screen tones anymore. They just color whatever. So, and so Thor continues, I shall prevail for the Avengers, for Asgard, and for honor eternal, he says, and throws out that piece, and it lands where it's right there. Incredible. Thor's wedged Pluto's dead fall trap into the breach in the pathway, but it won't hold forever. Avengers assemble, says Captain Marvel. She's the leader of the chairwoman, chairperson, whatever. Move it now. But what about Pluto? Let him get his own bridge, says Black Knight. And so, after them, for a chance to savor Elysium's pleasures, I'd even risk facing oblivion, which they do as they fall through. I don't get it. I was sure Pluto do more to stop us. There's no more he could do. Once we're on the upper pathway, his power above is limited by a millennia-old covenant with Zeus. He may rage, but he must leave us to the dangers beyond yon shimmering portal, says Thor. And so Thor continues, follow closely, Avengers, and fear not. These energies merely form a dimensional door. The only danger is from that which might lurk on the other side. And so they have now arrived. And so what are these horse creatures called? Centaurs, I think. Halt! None may enter Olympus unbidden? I don't know. Return whence you came. Blood of the Titans. These be the Avengers, he says. Impossible. No mortals can escape the netherworld. Believe what you will, Centaur. And attaboy, subby. Don't give him a chance to raise an alarm. So, a lot of times they use nicknames on characters. Some I get, like Spidey. But I mean, and I know they don't just want to, but I don't know, Subby. It's all right. Come on, let's go, says Captain Marvel. We're too vulnerable out in the open. Take the lead, Thor. You know Olympus better than we do. And Thor says, we cannot hide for long in this realm, but these woods should offer at least temporary refuge. And so Captain America says here, as long as we're in Olympus, we're outnumbered and outpowered. We must find a way to convince Zeus that he's wrong, that we're not responsible for Hercules getting injured. And Captain Marvel says, I can't understand why Zeus blames us in the first place. And the Black Knight says, yeah, for a guy who's supposed to be king of the gods, he's sure a long way from being all-seeing or all-knowing. And Thor chimes in, he is neither, Dane Whitman, but Zeus was known in ancient eras for his fits of rage. So, this guy here goes, time has made him no more rational, Odin's son. And he says, who? Beware, Avengers, grave times are upon you. Hey, if it's a grave time you want, step over here and we'll give one to you. And Namor says, wait, She-Hulk, I know this stranger. He aided me when I was lost in Hades. He showed me where I could find you. Covered last issue. 'Tis true, I am a friend to all born of the earth. I bring not threats, but warnings. Yeah, or yea, I don't know. And I am a bringer of knowledge. Gaze upon these waters that ye might learn. And so we have Zeus here. How much longer, Apollo? When will you break Hercules from the grasp of his delirium? So he's showing him something through that water. I cannot say, Father Zeus. Love this. Just no pants. Just, the damage to his brain was most serious. It may prove beyond my power to heal. And Hercules says, no was, no more orders, no more abuse from mortals. Avengers must learn. And Zeus says here, rest, my son, rest your troubled mind. And Zeus continues here, the Avengers will be punished for what they have done to you, every one of them. And Apollo says, my pardon, sire, but have not the Avengers twice before come to the aid of Olympus? They helped Hercules overcome the usurper Typhoon. Those are way back in Avengers 50 and 100, which I did not cover. And they rescued our very race when a vile sorcery had turned us all to unliving crystal. I can scarce believe that they caused Hercules' sad condition. And then this is Ares. Apollo is much too trusting, father. It is obvious that the Avengers championed the cause of Olympus merely because it suited their purposes at the time. I was never fooled by so-called heroics acts of those craven mortals. And Apollo says, you are no one to call any craven heiress. And that would be Mars in Roman. 'Twas by your cowardly acts that we were turned to crystal. I was not responsible. I had fallen under the spell of the Asgardian enchantress and a cursed sword. Again, issue 100. Do you deny that time and again you have sought to disrupt the peace of Olympus? I am the god of war, says Eris. I but seek to make our world more to my liking. If you cannot accept that, and finally Zeus has had enough. Silence! I will hear no more arguing amongst my children. I have decreed that all Avengers shall suffer for what has befallen your brother Hercules, and suffer they shall. All who claim the mantle of the Avengers shall know the tortures of Hades. And so this guy here says, do you still think you can convince Zeus that he is wrong, Captain America? And Black Knight says, Cap, that's the supreme ruler of Olympus, and he blames us for something we didn't do, solely on the delirious ravings of his son. And She-Hulk says, we can't just roll over and play dead. And, oh my gosh, I already forgot his name. Dr. Druid says, Dane has a point. A strategic retreat to Earth might be wiser for us. I agree with Dr. Druid. Again, look at the screen tones here. Awesome. Nay, Doctor, we cannot hope to approach that dimensional nexus linking Olympus and Earth unseen. Zeus would not hesitate to send his armies after us. So, that gentleman continues here. Yea, the rage of Zeus knows no bound, and Ares would leap at the chance to unleash his forces upon the earth. Mortal man would be helpless before such an onslaught. Better we should go down fighting here than let it happen, says She-Hulk. Agreed, there must be another way, says Captain Marvel. And Dr. Druid says, Zeus will never believe us, Captain. I doubt that even my mental abilities could persuade him. And Captain Marvel says, maybe not, but if we could win enough of the other gods over to our side, maybe they would intercede on our behalf. It's worth a try. And that mysterious gentleman says, a possibility for success does lie along that course, but your allies must be chosen with care. The children of Zeus are headstrong lot, and I can offer little help. And Black Knight says, what you're saying is we have to figure out which of Zeus' relatives are the least likely to fry us on the spot. And Captain America calls them out. Well, that's what it amounts to. Our chances range from slim to none. And Namor says, things are not as hopeless as you believe, Knight. I know of one Olympian at least who might be willing to listen. So, then this is Aphrodite, who is also known as Venus. I think Roger Stern is using both Greek and Roman, because Aphrodite and Venus are... So, I don't know. It's hard to keep track because one is Roman and one is Greek, but he's using both. So, more pomegranates, my lady. Thank you, no, says Aphrodite. Whatever's that commotion? And you can see here, Mother beware. Sorry we roughed up your guard, Venus, but he wouldn't listen to reason, says Captain Marvel. We seek peace, Venus, and your help is needed to ensure it. Zeus would not be pleased to find you here. And Namor says, your father misjudged us. Will you support his error, or will you hear the plea of an old ally? And Venus says here, I well remember how you helped me stop the spread of Ares's wars, Namor. Speak, and I will listen. That was back in Submariner number 57. So, beneath the Olympian Plaza here, Hephaestus has Mjolnir here, and then this is Athena, and he is very fascinated with the hammer because it's made out of the mystic Uru, which is an Asgardian rock, and how hard it was to get the hammer there. So Athena says, so only Thor and Odin can lift the hammer, and Hephaestus says no. Um, there's an inscription that read, "Whoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the powers of Thor." And he says, "If I can but channel my will, prove myself worthy of that power. Athena, I have done it. The hammer lifts free." But it wasn't. No. Mjolnir tears itself from my grasp like a thing alive. 'Twas never mine at all. And Thor says, "It returns to the hand of its rightful owner. Thus the hammer's enchantment. Thus ever shall it be." And Hephaestus, of course, yells, "The Avengers." And so, "I know not how you escape Pluto's clutches, but you shall not leave these halls alive and free. Seize the intruders, my I have automatons. Ah, I grew up in Puerto Rico, and English actually is my second language, but I've been speaking it for years. So automatons. I don't know. What the? All the workers are golden women. And says the Black Knight, and Thor says, "Hephaestus is an unequaled smith. He can endow unliving metal with the semblance of life." You're right. These aren't robots, but they're more like moving statues. Sorry, ladies. I hate to do this. And Dr. Druid says, "They are deadly as they are beautiful, and they have no minds for me to mesmerize. No psyches to be deceived by mental illusions. If I am to survive, I must pit metal against metal." And you can see him kind of using his power to knock them out and sends them into that lava pit or molten metal. So, "Halt, giantess, lest you force me to smite you." Smite? Don't any of you gods ever just haul off and belt somebody here? "I'll show you how it's done," says She-Hulk, and boom, as she hits him. And so Captain America is approached by these two, but he uses his moves and kicks them here. And Captain America just doesn't know how this all is going to work. He says, "How can we enlist the help of gods who won't give us a chance to state our case?" And so this thing of the molten metal breaks, and it's going to go toward the Black Knight. But here comes Captain America. And of course, Dr. Druid has his levitation powers. So She-Hulk grabs Hephaestus, and Thor grabs Athena. So once they're safe, he says, "Now, milady, our battle may continue unless you are now more inclined to reason." And so Hephaestus says, "First the villains attack us, then they act to save us from injury. What trickery is this? Mayhap their entrance was not meant as an attack at all," she says. "I'm glad to hear you say it, Athena," and you see a lightning bolt. But it was Captain Marvel. "I'd always read that you were supposed to be a goddess of wisdom as well as warrior. You must believe me. There is no reason for us to be enemies." And so here comes Venus here by Namor. "The ebon-skinned one speaks true, my friends. There has been a horrible misunderstanding." And so soon after, so Captain says, "So you see, Hercules ignored our warnings and blundered onto an ambush." And the Black Knight says, "The doctor suspected that Hercules had suffered some brain damage, but before they could fully treat him, Zeus took him to Olympus. There is a ring of truth to your tale, Hercules. Tale. Hercules has a long and colorful history of such blunders," says Athena. And Hephaestus says, "Of that there is no doubt, but how can we be certain?" And Venus says, "Hephaestus, I believe them. I know no mortal can lie to me. 'Tis true, but to oppose the will of Zeus, says Hephaestus. Hey, we're not asking you to fight your old man, just to help talk some sense into him. That's right. And we want to help Hercules if we can, says Captain America. So Hephaestus says, What but 'twas because of Hercules' ravings that Zeus did condemn you all? And Thor says, Hercules is not responsible for his words, and for all his shortcomings, he is still an avenger. Rhea, take me if I don't believe you. And Thor puts his arm there on his shoulder, but Hephaestus continues, But it will take much to calm the rage of Zeus. We must enlist the support of Apollo. And Thor says, Then lead us to Apollo, Hephaestus. We must see this wrong made right. And so off they go. And Eris is watching. And so here's Artemis, and this is the Wasp. As you commanded, Father, I have brought you the mortal who calls herself Wasp, though her sting is unlike any I have ever seen. Well done, Artemis. We are most pleased, says Zeus. And of course, she's all weak here. And Zeus goes, So, woman, you are the one who ordered my son about like a galley slave. You are the one who abandoned him to defeat. Yours must be the most awful punishment. And the Wasp says, What? Please, I don't understand. And Eris says, Father, our mortal foes make a mockery of your justice. They have broken free of Hades' bonds and now seek to turn your sons and daughters against you. And Zeus says, You speak madness, Ares. Nay, sire, as we speak, the Avengers spin their web of lies in the hall of Apollo. And Captain Marvel says, You must believe us, Apollo. Zeus has made a terrible mistake. A most serious accusations, mortals. In millennia past, such words alone would have cost you your lives. But this is not the past, Lord Apollo, and your father is not infallible, is he? Says Dr. Druid. No, he is not, nor am I, he says. For endless hours I have labored to heal my brother's wounds, but I cannot break him from the spell which has claimed his mind. At most I can ease his delirium with sleep. Apollo, I command certain powers of the mind. If you would allow me, perhaps I can help him. Please, says Dr. Druid. And so Dr. Druid now attempts here and psychically goes, Hear me, Hercules. I am a friend. I wish to help. And I love the drawing, how it's conveyed here. So everybody just watches quietly as Dr. Druid does his thing here. Your other friends, your family, are here with us. Come to us, Hercules. Let your mind join with mine. Let me show you the way back. Again, love this drawing as well. So, and Zeus says, What is the meaning of this? And Eris says, As I said, your unworthy children betray you. They have delivered Hercules into the hands of his mortal tormentors. And Captain America says, No, Zeus, it's not like that at all. You must listen. And Zeus, angry, says, You dare tell me what I must do, mortal? You who have defied my will. And he uses his powers, and you can see just knocks him out. So Captain Marvel is amazed at that. She's like, Oh my God, Cap. He was the closest to Zeus. Is he? No, he's still breathing. His shield must have taken the worst of the blast. And Thor says, His legs, a man with such fractures might never walk again. Namor says, Cap, can you hear me? See to the others, he says. Some of you yet stand. Must I wring the life from you one by one? Zeus, we did not come in search of war, but you have forced our hand, says Thor. Olympus shall know our wrath. I love this panel here. Yea, and you shall learn why we be called the Avengers. And so And so here we go. Miles across the immortal realm. At last it has come, the day I have dreaded for so long. The final battles between gods and man must begin now, and from such war there may be no victors. Next, battleground Olympus. Avengers 283 by Roger Stern, John Buscema, and Tom Palmer. Good story. Like it. So hopefully you do as well. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.